Dear friends, welcome back to English Story World Slow English Learning Videos. In today's short and interesting video, you will improve your English vocabulary, reading, writing, spelling, and listening skills in a very simple and easy way. This video is made in slow and clear English so that you can understand every word easily. You can listen carefully or even play it during your sleeping time to improve your listening skills naturally. If you want to listen faster, you can increase the playback speed in the video settings. Before we begin, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to English Story World for more helpful English learning videos. So, are you ready? Let's begin today's lesson. Mahatma Gandhi. From an ordinary boy to the father of a nation. This is not a story of power. This is not a story of weapons. This is the story of truth, patience, and courage. A simple beginning. Mahatma Gandhi was born on the 2nd of October 1869 in a small coastal town called Porbandar in India. His full name was Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. His father, Karamchand Gandhi, was a government officer. He was honest and disciplined. His mother, Putlibai, was deeply religious. She taught young Gandhi the values of truth, fasting, prayer, and self-control. Gandhi was not a brilliant student. He was shy, quiet, and afraid of speaking in public. No one imagined that this shy boy would one day change the world. Childhood lessons. As a child, Gandhi was very truthful. Once, he made a small mistake and told his father the truth instead of hiding it. His father's silent tears touched Gandhi deeply. That moment taught him a lifelong lesson. Truth has the power to change hearts. This belief stayed with him forever. Marriage at a young age. Gandhi was married at the age of 13 to Kasturba Gandhi. They were both very young and immature. Life taught them slowly. Kasturba later became his strongest supporter, sharing every hardship. Going to England. Gandhi wanted to become a lawyer. In 1888, he went to England to study law. Life there was difficult. He felt lonely. He struggled with food habits. He tried to fit into a foreign culture. But he learned discipline and independence. He returned to India as a lawyer, but success did not come easily. Failure in India. Gandhi tried practicing law in India. He failed badly. He was nervous. He could not speak confidently in court. This failure broke his confidence. So, he accepted a job offer in South Africa. That decision changed his life forever. South Africa, the turning point. In South Africa, Gandhi faced racism for the first time. One day, he was thrown out of a train despite having a valid ticket, just because he was Indian. That night, sitting alone at the railway station, Gandhi thought deeply. He decided, I will fight injustice, but without violence. This was the birth of Satyagraha, the power of truth and non-violence. Fighting injustice without violence. Gandhi spent 21 years in South Africa. He led peaceful protests. He went to jail many times. He suffered, but never used violence. Slowly, the world started noticing him. He proved that moral strength is stronger than physical force. Return to India. In 1915, Gandhi returned to India. India was under British rule. People were poor, afraid, and divided. Gandhi traveled across villages. He lived like common people. He wore simple clothes. He wanted to understand India before leading it. Leader of the masses, Gandhi led many movements. Champaran movement, non-cooperation movement, civil disobedience movement, Quit India movement. He encouraged people to boycott British goods and use curry. His message was simple. Be fearless. Be truthful. Be united. Millions followed him. Life of simplicity. Gandhi lived a very simple life. No luxury. No power hunger. No hatred. He cleaned toilets himself. He spun his own cloth. He believed leaders must serve, not rule. Jail and sacrifice. Gandhi was jailed many times. He fasted to stop violence. He fasted to unite people. His fasting was not drama. It was a moral call. People listened, because they trusted him. Freedom and pain. In 1947, India became free. But freedom came with partition. Violence spread. People suffered. Gandhi was heartbroken. He walked barefoot in riot-hit areas, asking people to stop killing. Even in victory, he chose peace. The final sacrifice. On the 30th of January 1948, Mahatma Gandhi was assassinated. He died with the name of God on his lips. The nation cried. The world bowed. Why Gandhi is still relevant? Gandhi taught the world. Violence creates more violence. Truth has no shortcut. Change begins with self. He showed that even an ordinary person can create extraordinary change. Mahatma Gandhi was not born great. He became great through struggle and sacrifice. He proved you don't need weapons to fight injustice. You need courage, truth, and patience. Final moral. A poor man with truth is stronger than a powerful man with hatred. That is the legacy of Mahatma Gandhi. From a small hut to a big heart. In a small village surrounded by dry fields and dusty roads, there lived a poor family in a tiny mud house. The roof leaked during rain. The walls had cracks. But inside the house lived hope. The family had 4 members. Hari, the father, worked as a daily labor. Lakshmi, the mother, worked in other people's houses. Their son Rohan was 14 years old, and their daughter Meena was 9. They were poor, but they were honest. A hard morning. Every morning began before sunrise. Hari woke up early and walked many kilometers to find work. Some days he got work. Some days he returned empty-handed. Lakshmi cooked simple food, mostly rice and salt. Sometimes vegetables came only once a week. Rohan helped his father before school. Meena helped her mother at home. Life was hard, but they never complained. Rohan's dream. Rohan studied in a government school. He sat on the last bench. His clothes were old. His bag was torn. But his eyes were full of dreams. He wanted to become a big man. Not to show off, but to change his family's life. Every night, he studied under a street light because there was no electricity at home. People laughed at him. A poor boy dreaming big? He will end up like his father. Rohan stayed silent. A painful day. One day, Hari fell sick. He could not work. There was no money, no savings, no help. Lakshmi cried quietly. Rohan saw his parents suffering. That night, he decided something. I will not let my family stay poor forever. The first sacrifice. Rohan started working after school. He cleaned shops. He carried goods. He washed dishes. He studied late at night, tired and sleepy. Many times, he wanted to quit. But then he looked at his parents and continued. A small support. One school teacher noticed Rohan's dedication. The teacher gave him old books. He encouraged him. You are poor in money, the teacher said, but rich in courage. Those words changed Rohan's life. Failure and tears. After school, Rohan tried for a scholarship exam. He failed. He cried alone that night. For the first time, he thought of giving up. But his mother said softly, failure is not the end. Giving up is. Rohan wiped his tears. Trying again. He studied harder. He worked more. The next year, he passed the scholarship exam. He got admission to a college in the city. The family was happy, but afraid. How will we manage? Hari asked. Rohan replied, I will manage. Life in the city. City life was cruel. Rohan lived in a small room. He worked part-time. He ate less to save money. Sometimes, he slept hungry. Sometimes, he felt lonely. But he never stopped. A turning point. One day, Rohan got a small internship. It paid very little, but he learned a lot. He learned skills. He learned discipline. He learned confidence. Slowly, his life started changing. First success. After years of struggle, Rohan got a good job. His first salary was small. But for his family, it was a treasure. He sent money home. Lakshmi cried holding it. This money has pain and love inside it, she said. Helping his family. Rohan repaired the mud house. He sent Meena to a good school. He took his father to a doctor. The family smiled again. Growing bigger. Rohan did not stop. He saved money. He learned more skills. He worked harder than everyone else. Years passed. He started a small business. At first, it failed. He lost money. People said, he will fall again. Rohan stood up again. Real success. The second time, his business worked. Slowly, it grew. Rohan became a respected man. But he never forgot his past. Remembering the poor. One day, Rohan went back to his village. He saw children studying under street lights, just like him. He felt pain. He decided something important: helping others. Rohan built a small study center in the village. Free books, free light, free guidance. He helped poor children. He gave jobs to villagers. People started calling him a big man. But Rohan said, "I am still the same poor boy inside." Teaching the truth. He told the children, being poor is not your fault. Staying hopeless is. Work hard. Fail. Stand up again. A full circle.
One evening, Rohan sat outside his parents' house. Hari said proudly, "You became rich." Rohan smiled and replied, "I became useful." Final message. Money can change life, but kindness gives meaning to success. A poor person can become great, not by luck, but by courage, patience, and hard work. Moral of the story: slow and deep. You don't rise from poverty in one day. You rise step by step. And true success is not becoming rich. It is helping others rise with you.
Two friends, one dream. The story of Ram and Shyam. In a small town surrounded by narrow roads and old houses, there lived two boys named Ram and Shyam. They were very different from each other. Ram was open and talkative. He smiled easily and believed that every problem had a solution. When things went wrong, Ram would say, "Don't worry, we will find a way." Shyam was quiet and thoughtful. He planned everything carefully. He believed success came only with discipline and patience. He often said, "Let's think before we act." Even with these differences, they were best friends. They met in school when they were 10 years old. One day, Ram forgot his notebook. The teacher was angry. Ram stood silently, feeling ashamed. Shyam slowly pushed his extra notebook toward Ram without saying a word. Ram whispered, "Thank you." Shyam nodded. That small moment started a strong friendship. Growing together, Ram and Shyam walked to school together every day. They shared lunch, homework, and dreams. Sometimes they sat under a tree after school and talked about the future. One day, "I want to be successful," Ram said. "I want my family to live without worry." Shyam looked at the sky and replied, "I want success too, but I want peace with it." They promised each other something important. "No matter what happens," Shyam said, "we stay together." Ram smiled. "Always." At that time, life felt easy. But life slowly changed. Pressure and problems. As they grew older, responsibilities increased. Ram's father lost his job. Money became a serious problem. Ram started working part-time after school to help his family. Shyam faced a different pressure. His family expected top grades and a secure career. Study hard, they said. Don't take risks. Both friends were struggling, but in different ways. In their final year of school, Ram shared an idea. Let's start something together, Ram said. A small business. Something of our own. Shyam became silent. That sounds risky, he said finally. We should study more. Get safe jobs first. Ram replied calmly. If we wait forever, we will never start. It was their first serious disagreement. Still, their friendship remained. Different paths. After school, their paths slowly separated. Shyam joined college. He followed rules, studied late nights, and focused on stability. Ram tried many things. Small jobs, online work, learning new skills. Some ideas worked, many failed. People laughed at Ram. Why don't you live like others? They asked. Ram smiled, but deep inside, he felt tired. Shyam worried about Ram. One evening, Shyam said, "You are taking too many risks." Ram replied softly, "And you are afraid to take even one." That night, they ended the call quietly. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. They spoke less, but they never forgot each other. Ram's lowest point. 1 year later, Ram faced his worst time. A project failed. He lost money. His father became sick. Bills increased. Ram sat alone in his room, staring at the floor. For the first time, he doubted himself. Maybe Shyam was right. He picked up his phone and called Shyam. Shyam answered immediately. "I failed," Ram said in a low voice. Shyam did not speak at first. Then he said, "Come to my place." That night, Ram told Shyam everything. Shyam listened quietly. No judgment. No anger. Just listening. Then Shyam said something important. "You failed alone," he said. "Let's try together." Ram looked up, surprised. A new start together. The next morning, Shyam made a decision. "I want to try once," Shyam said. "Not for money, for belief." Ram felt hope return. They started working together. Ram brought ideas, confidence, and communication. Shyam brought planning, structure, and discipline. They worked from a small room with one old laptop. They failed again and again. But this time, they didn't feel alone. When Ram became emotional, Shyam stayed calm. When Shyam became afraid, Ram stayed hopeful. Slowly, they improved. Slowly, they learned. The long road to success. Success did not come quickly. People laughed at them. Relatives questioned them. "Get normal jobs," they said.
Some nights, Shyam doubted everything. Ram encouraged him. Some nights, Ram felt lost. Shyam reminded him of the plan. They learned an important truth. Success is slow, but quitting is faster. One day, they got a small opportunity. Not big, Not exciting, but honest. They worked day and night. When the payment came, they stared at the screen silently. Then Ram laughed loudly. We did it. Shyam smiled, a real smile. Reaching the dream. More opportunities came. They stayed patient. They stayed honest. They stayed together. 1 year later, they rented a small office. Ram looked around and said, "Remember school days?" Shyam nodded. We promised not to walk alone. They had not become rich overnight. But they were successful. Not because of money, but because they trusted each other. The meaning of true success. One day, a young boy asked them, "How do we become successful?" Shyam replied, "Find someone who completes you." Ram added, "And never give up on friendship." They understood the truth. Success is not built alone. It is built with trust, patience, and the right friend. Ram and Shyam proved that when two true friends walk together, even the longest road becomes possible. When the street light stayed on. In a quiet town near a long highway, there was a small street that most people ignored. Cars passed it every day, but very few stopped there. The houses were old, the paint was faded, and the street light at the corner flickered every night. That street light had been broken for years, yet somehow, it always stayed on. On that street lived a boy named Ethan. Ethan was 16 years old. He was not famous, not rich, and not special in the way people usually noticed. He went to school, came back home, helped his mother, and spent most of his evenings sitting near the window, watching the street light glow. People at school barely noticed him. Teachers knew his name but never remembered his answers. Classmates walked past him as if he was part of the wall. When group projects were announced, Ethan was always the last choice. Not because he was rude. Not because he was lazy. But because he was quiet. Very quiet. Ethan used to talk a lot when he was younger. He used to ask questions, tell stories, and laugh loudly. But over time, life taught him something painful. When you speak and no one listens, silence feels safer. So he learned to stay quiet. Every morning, Ethan woke up before sunrise. He packed his bag, checked his phone, no new messages, and walked to school. On the way, he passed the same street light. It was still on, even though the sun was rising. He always wondered why. At school, the hallways were loud. Friends laughed, groups talked, and plans were made. Ethan walked alone. He sat near the window in class. Outside, he could see the road, the sky, and sometimes birds flying freely. He liked the birds. They don't need permission to move, he thought. One afternoon, the teacher returned exam papers. Ethan's hands felt cold when he saw the red marks on his paper. Not the worst score, but not good enough either. The teacher sighed. You can do better, she said, already turning away. That sentence followed Ethan all the way home. You can do better. But no one ever told him how. At home, his mother smiled tiredly. She worked long hours at a nearby factory. His father had passed away years ago, and since then, silence had lived in their house too. How was school? His mother asked. Fine, Ethan replied. It was always fine. That evening, Ethan sat near the window again. The street light outside flickered softly. A car slowed down, then drove away. Ethan whispered, Why do you stay on? The street light did not answer. Days passed. Weeks passed. Life stayed the same. Until one evening, something changed. It was raining lightly. The sky was grey, and the road looked shiny. Ethan noticed a girl standing under the street light. She was holding a small bag and looking around as if she was lost. Ethan hesitated. He was not used to talking to strangers. But something about her worried him. He put on his jacket and stepped outside. Are you okay? He asked softly. The girl looked up, surprised. She was around his age, maybe a year older. Yes. I think so, she said. I'm waiting for the bus, but it's late. Ethan looked down the road. The bus stop sign was broken and barely visible. It comes late sometimes, he said. You can wait here. The light stays on. She smiled slightly. That's good. I don't like dark places. They stood there quietly, rain falling between them. After a moment, she said, My name is Lena. Ethan, he replied. Another silence. But this one felt different. Comfortable. I've never seen you before, Lena said. I live here, Ethan replied. People don't notice much. She looked at him carefully. I notice. That simple sentence hit him harder than any exam result. The bus arrived, and Lena waved goodbye. See you around, Ethan. As she left, the street light flickered, but stayed on. The next day at school, Ethan saw Lena in the hallway. She smiled and waved. Just like that, something small changed. They started talking sometimes. About school. About music. About dreams they never said out loud to others. Lena was not loud either. She had moved to town recently. She felt lost, just like Ethan. I feel like everyone else has a map, she said one day. And I don't. Ethan nodded. I feel like I'm invisible. She shook her head. You're not. You're just standing where people forget to look. Those words stayed with him. One evening, they sat near the street light again. Cars passed. Rain had stopped. Why do you like this place? Lena asked. Ethan thought for a moment. Because the light stays on, he said. Even when it shouldn't. Lena smiled. Maybe it's waiting for someone. Time moved forward. Ethan still struggled at school. Still felt ignored sometimes. But now, there were moments of laughter. Moments of being seen. One day, the school announced a talent program. Students could share skills, music, art, speaking, anything. Ethan felt his stomach twist. Lena looked at him. You should join. He laughed nervously. I don't have any talent. She shook her head. You listen. That's rare. He didn't understand. You notice things, she continued. You understand people. You could tell stories. Ethan had never thought of that as a skill. That night, he sat by the window, staring at the street light. His notebook lay open in front of him. Slowly, he began to write. Not perfect sentences. Not big words. Just thoughts. About silence. About being unseen. About street lights that stay on. Days later, he signed up. On the day of the program, his hands shook. The hall was full. Voices echoed. Ethan stood on the stage, heart racing. He looked into the crowd. He felt small. Then he remembered the street light. He took a deep breath. And he spoke. He told a simple story. About a boy who felt invisible. About a light that stayed on. About waiting and noticing and choosing not to turn off. The room went quiet. For the first time, silence listened to him. When he finished, there was a pause. Then applause. Not loud at first, but real. After that day, things did not magically become perfect. Ethan still failed sometimes. Still doubted himself. Still felt afraid. But now he knew something important. Being quiet did not mean being weak. Being unseen did not mean being unimportant. One evening, months later, Ethan and Lena stood under the street light again. The city planned to replace it soon. Do you think they'll fix it? Lena asked. Ethan smiled. Maybe. Or maybe it's already done its job. They looked up as the light flickered softly. In that moment, Ethan understood something clearly. Some lights don't shine to be noticed. They shine so others don't feel alone. And somewhere inside him, a light stayed on too.
A boy who grew hope. Ravi was a young boy from a small village near Cuttack. His family was not rich, but they were hard-working and honest. Ravi always dreamed of doing something different from others. While most people in his village depended only on traditional farming, Ravi wanted to try something new. One day, while using his mobile phone, he saw a video about hydroponic farming. He learned that plants could grow without soil, using only water and nutrients. At first, he could not believe it. How can plants grow without soil? He wondered. But the idea stayed in his mind. Ravi started reading more about it. He watched many videos and read articles in simple English. Slowly, he began to understand the process. He decided to try a small experiment on the roof of his house. His father laughed and said, "This is city farming, not for villagers." But his mother quietly supported him. With some savings, Ravi bought plastic containers, nutrient solution, and lettuce seeds. He carefully mixed the nutrients in water and checked the pH level every day. The first week was difficult. Some plants turned yellow. Ravi felt sad but did not give up. He searched for the problem and realized the pH level was too high. He corrected it and tried again. After 3 weeks, small green leaves started growing beautifully. Ravi was excited. His father was surprised to see healthy lettuce growing without soil. Soon, Ravi harvested his first crop. He took the fresh lettuce to a supermarket in Cuttack. The shop owner was impressed by the quality and agreed to buy more. Slowly, Ravi expanded his setup. He built a small shade net house and started growing spinach and cherry tomatoes. Hotels from Bhubaneswar began placing small orders. Ravi maintained good quality and supplied fresh vegetables regularly. Within a year, Ravi's small experiment became a successful business. He was able to support his family financially. More importantly, he inspired other young people in his village. They realized that farming could be modern and profitable. One evening, Ravi stood on his rooftop, looking at the green plants shining under the sunset. He remembered the day when people laughed at his idea. Now, those same people were asking him for advice. Ravi smiled and said to himself, "Dreams grow just like plants. If you give them the right care, they will grow anywhere." And from that day, Ravi was not just a farmer, he was a symbol of hope for his village. The small step. Ravi was a young boy from a small village. He always dreamed of doing something big in his life. But every day felt the same. He woke up early, helped his father in the fields, and went to school. At night, he studied under a small lamp. Many times, Ravi felt tired. Sometimes he felt that his dreams were too big for a small village boy. His friends laughed at him when he said he wanted to become an engineer. One evening, his teacher called him after class. "Ravi," the teacher said softly, "do you know what makes a person successful?" Ravi shook his head. "It is not talent. It is not money. It is small steps taken every day." That night, Ravi thought deeply. He understood that he did not need to change his whole life in one day. He only needed to improve a little every day. From the next morning, he made a simple plan. He studied 1 extra hour. He practiced English for 30 minutes. He asked questions in class without fear. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Slowly, Ravi's confidence grew. His marks improved. His English became better. Even his friends stopped laughing and started asking him for help. Years later, Ravi stood in front of a college building in a big city. He had earned a seat in an engineering college. He smiled and remembered his teacher's words. Success did not come in one big jump. It came through small, daily steps. And Ravi learned that no dream is too big if you are ready to take one small step every day.
The Light Within, a story of hope, courage, and becoming yourself. It was a hot summer afternoon in the small town of Rajgarh, where the sun kissed terracotta rooftops and tossed dust into the warm breeze. The town was like many others, full of routine, vibrant conversations on verandas, noisy market streets, and ambitious young minds tucked into classrooms dreaming of change. Among those young minds was Arun, a boy of 17 with deep, expressive eyes and a heart that beat with both hope and uncertainty. The weight of expectations. Arun was bright. Teachers often praised his grasp of numbers and words, and his parents quietly hoped he would become a man of respect, security. But inside, Arun carried a different dream. He wanted to be a writer, not just any writer, but a voice that inspired thousands, a voice that brought courage to the weak, hope to the discouraged, and belief to the lost. Yet, as much as he dreamed, he also feared failure. Every morning, Arun walked past a billboard near his school that displayed a quote, "What you truly seek is already within you." He liked the quote, but also feared it. Was it really that simple? At home, his father spoke often about securing a steady job. "Beta, a writer's life is unstable. You need safety first." His mother would smile nervously, worrying not for his dreams, but for his peace. Deep down, Arun felt torn. There was passion in his chest, a flame that flickered whenever he wrote, but was clouded by fear. What if no one reads my words? What if I fail? He asked himself nightly as stars gleamed outside his window. The first spark. One evening, Arun's English teacher, Miss Mehta, announced a story writing competition. "My dear students," she said, "write something from your heart, not to win, but to listen to your inner voice." Arun hesitated. A competition meant judgment. Judgment meant risk. But something within him stirred, a small spark. He decided to write. Not about grandeur, not about achievement. He wrote about the burden of expectations, the fear of discovering one's purpose, the courage to face tomorrow, the belief that life can change one choice at a time mess. He wrote from a place he rarely acknowledged, his true self, a letter to himself. When it came time to submit, Arun paused. His fingers hovered above the keyboard. Should I send it? What if they laugh? What if they reject me? Then he remembered something he once read. Motivation isn't waiting for the fear to disappear. Motivation is acting despite the fear. Breathing deep, he hit send. For the first time, he faced his fear head on. Days of waiting. The period after submission felt timeless. Arun walked through corridors with a strange mix of relief and anxiety. Every step felt like waiting for a heartbeat, loud, unpredictable. Each day he passed the billboard quote. Each day it seemed to glow a little brighter. People started noticing. His classmates asked him about his story. Some laughed, some encouraged, others simply said, "Good luck, Yar." Inside his chest, the spark was growing, a gentle warmth he'd never felt before. Victory in unexpected forms. 2 weeks later, the announcement came. Arun didn't win first place. He didn't even make the runner-up list. His heart sank. For a moment, he thought the spark had faded. But then something remarkable happened. Miss Mehta asked to speak with him after class. She told him she'd read his story and was deeply moved. She said that the story was one of the most honest pieces she had encountered and encouraged him to keep writing. A few other teachers stopped him in the hallway and said similar things, not about winning, but about the truth in his words. For the first time, Arun realized something powerful. Success isn't always measured by awards, but by the echoes your truth creates in others. His story didn't win a prize, but it won connection and recognition, and that was a deeper reward. A change begins. After that day, Arun began writing more often. Short pieces in the local newspaper, journal entries that became reflections, letters to his future self, stories about ordinary people and their triumphs. His words traveled slowly, first to friends, then classmates, and soon to a small group of readers online. People wrote back to him, "Your words make me believe there's hope when I feel lost. I read your story and kept writing myself. I thought I had no purpose, but your words helped me find direction." Each message strengthened his flame. It became clear. Motivation isn't a moment. It's a ripple that starts within and extends outward. The storm of self-doubt. But the path wasn't easy. There were days when Arun felt criticized, when people dismissed his words. There were nights when doubt crept in. Why am I doing this? Maybe I should just choose a normal job. One rainy afternoon, his younger sister asked him, "Did writing make you happy?" Her question was simple, but it struck a deep chord. He thought about every late night he wrote, every moment his heart raced with creation. He remembered the first spark, the billboard, the fear, the courage, and he whispered, "Yes, this is joy." He resolved then that he would keep writing, not for fame, not for approval, but because it brought light to his life and his readers' lives too. An unexpected journey. Years passed. Arun published more stories. He connected with readers across towns and villages. He even delivered talks at local schools and colleges, not as a famous author, but as someone who once struggled the same way others did. At one such talk, an aspiring student asked, "How did you keep going when it was hard?" He responded, "I learned that motivation doesn't drop from the sky. It grows from within, from the choices we make when no one's watching, from the courage to face fear again and again." He shared the words he once wrote in his journal. "What you truly seek is already within you. You only need the courage to discover it." The audience was silent, and in that silence, something powerful stirred. The ripple that never ends. Arun never became a millionaire, nor did he become a celebrity writer. But more importantly, he became a voice of determination. Some of his readers went on to publish their own work. Some pursued careers they thought were impossible. Some, even from small towns just like Rajgarh, found motivation from his words to follow their own dreams. And that ripple of courage was his real victory. What this story teaches us, this is more than a tale. It's a reminder that motivation begins inside you. It doesn't depend on applause, awards, or recognition. It comes from within. Success isn't always visible at first. Sometimes it's quiet. Recognition grows slowly but meaningfully. Fear doesn't disappear, you act despite it. Courage is not absence of fear, but action in the presence of it. Your words, effort, and choices matter. Even one honest expression can inspire lives and create ripples far beyond you.